The Galactic Council's halls were silent, but the tension was thick. After the Battle of the Core, Zarkon and the remaining leaders gathered in urgent session. Reports of the human fleet's power, precision, and mercy had shaken them to their core. Some delegates whispered among themselves, unsure if they could ever trust their old ways. Others trembled with fear. The Council had learned one undeniable truth. Humanity was no longer a minor species to control or ignore. On Earth, Admiral Kellen watched the Council's faltering communications through secure channels. The humans had waited patiently, letting the Council overreach. Now the moment for the final message had arrived. "Prepare the transmission," Kellen said to Dr. Mei Chen. She nodded and began coordinating the message that would be sent to every system under Council control. "This is humanity," the message began. "We have awakened. We have proven our strength, intelligence, and unity. We fight not for conquest, but for justice and protection. The murder of our child, Lyra, reminded us that no one can betray humanity without consequences. Let this be a warning. Any act of aggression against our species will meet with overwhelming force. We protect our own." The message was broadcast across every frequency, every channel, every system. Even Council-controlled planets received it. Citizens on those worlds whispered among themselves. They had lived under the Council's rule for generations, yet the humans, long underestimated, had shown a new way. Courage, strategy, and honor had conquered arrogance. Meanwhile, the human fleet moved gracefully through space, stationed strategically across Council systems. Its presence alone was enough to enforce peace. Massive cruisers floated above key planets. Stealth fighters patrolled the borders, and the ancient AI systems monitored for any sign of rebellion. Captain Rena Vale stood on the bridge of her ship, gazing at the stars. "We've done more than fight," she said to Lior. "We've shown that humans are not just strong. We're intelligent, fair, and united, and that is what terrifies the Council." Lior nodded. Yes, they expected chaos, destruction, maybe anger. But we showed them something they could never calculate: honor. They killed a child, and we protected their people instead of seeking revenge. That is the human way. In the Council chambers, Zarkon's anger was matched only by his disbelief. How did they do this?" he demanded. "They were supposed to be weak. Our fleets outnumber them. Our weapons are superior." A younger delegate, trembling, spoke up. "They did not fight like us. They did not react like us. They were precise, clever, and merciful. They are not to be underestimated. We cannot control them, not anymore." Zarkon's eyes narrowed. For the first time, he realized that the humans were not just survivors. They were a species that could redefine the galaxy. Every plan, every expectation he had failed. Back on Earth, the people celebrated quietly. The battle was over, but it was not about victory in the traditional sense. It was about recognition. Humanity had stood up to the greatest power in the galaxy and had demanded respect. Children in schools learned about Lyra and the awakening of the fleet. Scientists told stories of ancient technology combined with modern innovation. Soldiers shared tales of courage and precise strategy. Humanity had proven itself in every way. Admiral Kellen addressed the fleet one last time before sending most ships into orbit around Earth. "We have delivered our message," he said. "The Council has learned a lesson they cannot forget. Humanity is awake, humanity is united, and humanity will always protect its own. We have done what was necessary, but we have done it with honor. That is our strength." Captain Vale looked out from her ship at the massive formation of ancient vessels. "They will remember this," she said quietly. "Every Council fleet, every delegate, every planet. They will know that humans cannot be ignored," Lior smiled. "And they will also know that we are not reckless. We fight with thought, precision, and respect for life. That is the difference." In the weeks that followed, humanity solidified its presence in the galaxy. Council systems that had been hostile began negotiating with Earth, offering cooperation and trade. Some colonies, inspired by human tactics and philosophy, quietly pledged loyalty. Humans were no longer the species to dismiss. They were a model of innovation, resilience, and moral strength. The ancient fleet returned to distant star systems, hidden once again, but fully operational. It remained as a silent protector, a reminder that humanity had power beyond imagination, but also wisdom to use it responsibly. Dr. Mei Chen reflected on the events with pride. "The fleet was more than technology," she said. "It was hope, determination, and memory. Lyra's death was tragic, but it united us in a way nothing else could. The galaxy will remember not just our power, but our spirit. Admiral Kellen looked at the stars, thinking of Lyra and all the humans who had worked tirelessly to awaken the fleet. We will continue to grow, he said softly. We will continue to protect. And we will continue to show the galaxy what it means to be human. Even Zarkon and the remaining council leaders began to change. They realized that domination through fear was no longer possible. The humans had shown them a new path. Respect, honor, and unity could match, even surpass, power and technology. As the galaxy adjusted to this new reality, humans returned to their worlds, not as conquered subjects, not as the weak, but as equals, protectors, and innovators. Every corner of Earth celebrated, and across the stars, whispers of humanity's rise spread. The final message from Admiral Kellen was simple, yet powerful. We are awake. We remember. We protect our own, and the galaxy will never forget it. And so a new era began. Humanity had proven itself in the face of betrayal. They had awakened an ancient fleet, faced the greatest power in the galaxy, and emerged stronger, wiser, and united. The Council could no longer dismiss them. The galaxy had learned the lesson. Humans are not a species to underestimate. From this day forward, humanity stood among the stars not as mere observers, but as leaders, protectors, and a symbol of courage and intelligence. The memory of a single child, Lyra, had sparked a revolution that no force could stop. The stars shone brighter than ever, and humanity's ancient fleet waited silently, a reminder that the galaxy's balance had changed forever. The Council had learned a hard truth: never betray humanity. And humanity had learned something too, that when united, clever and determined, no species, no matter how powerful, could ever break their spirit. The galaxy had changed, and humans would lead the way, forever vigilant, forever proud, and forever human. The human fleet moved like a living shadow through the dark expanse of space, approaching the galactic core, the seat of the Council's power and the center of their influence. Here, the Council's might was strongest, with fleets, fortresses, and weapon systems designed to protect their rule across countless star systems. But humanity was not afraid. They had waited, trained, and prepared for this moment. On board the flagship Resolute, Admiral Kellen stood at the observation deck, gazing at the swirling mass of stars and Council fortifications below. "This is it," he said quietly. "Every calculation, every strategy. It comes down to this. Humanity will show the galaxy who we are." Captain Rena Vale checked the fighter squadron. "All systems ready. Stealth ships in position. Heavy cruisers aligned. We move on your command, Admiral." Leor, her co-pilot, tightened his harness. "I've never seen anything like this. The core is massive, but our fleet, it's massive too. And smarter," Admiral Kellen nodded. "Then let them feel the storm." The Council in the core's central chambers was in chaos. Zarkon roared as reports of the fleet's approach filled the room. How did they get here? They should not be able to reach the core. Other delegates shouted over each other, trying to organize defense fleets, planetary shields, and warning systems. Panic was spreading faster than anyone could control. For the first time in centuries, the Council felt fear. They had underestimated humans, and now they were paying the price. The first strike came from stealth units. Human ships slipped through the Council's sensor nets, moving unseen past their outer defenses. They disabled patrol vessels, sabotaged communication arrays, and disrupted energy shields. Each attack was precise, calculated, and designed to weaken without unnecessary destruction. Captain Vale's squadron danced among the massive enemy ships, dodging fire and striking with precision. "Focus on the weak points," she commanded. "We are not here to destroy everything. We are here to prove a point." Leor guided the fighters through a cluster of energy turrets. "They can't hit us. Every move they make we've already predicted. They have no idea what's coming next." Meanwhile, massive cruisers from the human fleet approached the Council's primary defense lines. They fired energy beams that melted through the old shields, disabling the enemy ships without killing most of the crews. Humanity's strategy was clear: demonstrate power, enforce control, and send a warning without unnecessary slaughter. Admiral Kellen observed the battle through the flagship's holographic display. "Notice their formations," he said to Dr. Mei Chen, who monitored fleet coordination. "They are rigid, predictable. Our fleet adapts, moves faster, and acts as one. This is why humans survive and triumph where others fail. Dr. Chen nodded. The council thought their numbers would protect them. They never understood that strategy. Intelligence and unity outweigh size alone. In the heart of the battle, human ships rescued stranded council civilians from damaged ships and destroyed stations. News of these acts spread across council communications, causing confusion and doubt among the enemy ranks. Some began to question their leaders. Why were humans fighting with precision instead of pure aggression? Why were they helping civilians even in battle? Captain Vale noticed a group of smaller council ships retreating toward a planetary station. "They are fleeing," she said. "We have control. We must keep pressure without overextending." Admiral Kellen gave the order. "Hold positions. Focus on key targets. Disable, do not destroy unnecessarily. Let them see our strength and wisdom." The battle continued for hours, a dazzling display of strategy and courage. The human fleet moved like a single organism, predicting attacks, exploiting weaknesses, and adapting faster than the council could respond. Energy beams sliced through old defenses, stealth ships harried supply lines, and massive cruisers provided overwhelming presence. In one dramatic moment, a council supercarrier tried to ram a human vessel. It was a desperate move. Captain Vale maneuvered her fighters, guiding the enemy toward a gravity well created by the human fleet's ancient technology. The supercarrier was trapped and immobilized. Kellen's fleet disabled its weapons, leaving it powerless. "This is precision," Vale said. "Not chaos. Not revenge. Control." Across the core, council leaders struggled to coordinate. Their arrogance had been shattered. For centuries, they had ruled the galaxy without opposition, and now they faced a species they had thought weak and primitive. Panic and fear spread faster than reinforcements could arrive. Meanwhile, humans on the flagship coordinated a massive display of power. The ancient fleet's energy systems aligned, creating a synchronized wave of force that moved through the council defenses. It was a warning, not an attack. The wave disabled several fleets at once, demonstrating that humanity could reach anywhere, strike any time, and leave a mark on the galaxy. Dr. Chen monitored the effect on council communication channels. "They see us as unstoppable now. Fear is spreading, and some factions are already questioning Zarkon's leadership. Humanity has not even unleashed its full power yet." Admiral Kellen spoke to the fleet. "Hold your positions. Protect the civilians. Show them what it means to fight with honor. This battle is about more than power. It is about justice, intelligence, and humanity." Captain Vale watched a council ship surrender. Its crew raised their arms, signaling submission. Vale radioed them. "You are safe. No harm will come if you cooperate. Humanity does not forget, but we forgive those who are willing to learn." The surrender spread quickly. More council ships ceased fire, realizing resistance was futile. Their rigid tactics and arrogance had been no match for human adaptability, strategy, and unity. The Battle of the Galactic Core ended not with total destruction, but with a clear message. Humanity was a force to be respected. They were clever, organized, and merciful. The council could not ignore them again. Admiral Kellen looked out at the stars, now quiet again after the storm. "We have proven ourselves," he said. "The galaxy will remember this day. Humans are not to be underestimated. We protect our own. We fight for what is right, and we survive." Captain Vale and Leor returned to their ship. "They will never forget this," Leor said. "The council will rethink everything about us now." Vale nodded. "And we will not stop. This is only the beginning. Humanity has awoken, and the galaxy will see our true strength." On Earth, citizens watched the reports of the battle, their pride and hope swelling. Humanity had faced the most powerful force in the galaxy, and had triumphed. Lyra's memory, the child whose death had sparked the awakening, was honored across every planet. Her sacrifice had not been in vain. Admiral Kellen addressed the fleet one last time before returning to Earth. "This is a new era," he said. "The Council has learned a lesson they will not forget. Humanity is awake, humanity is united, and humanity will always protect its own." The Battle of the Galactic Core became a story passed down through generations, a story of courage, strategy, and the awakening of a species that no one could ever again dismiss. The Council may have ruled for centuries, but humanity had risen stronger, smarter, and ready to protect the galaxy and their own at any cost. The ancient human fleet glided silently through the dark reaches of space, moving closer to the heart of the Galactic Council's territory. Its massive ships, now fully awakened and armed, cast faint shadows against distant stars. Every system had been tested, every pilot trained. Humanity had waited patiently, knowing the Council would never see them coming. On board the flagship Resolute, Admiral Kellen walked the corridors with calm authority. He passed crews who worked tirelessly, monitoring energy outputs, weapon systems, and navigation. Though the fleet was ancient, it moved with precision and purpose, a perfect combination of old design and modern innovation. Captain Rena Vale adjusted her controls in the Fighter Command Center. "Sensors detect Council patrols ahead," she said, eyes scanning the view screens. "They are slow, disorganized, and completely unaware of us." Her co-pilot Leor grinned. "They think humans are primitive. They think we cannot fight them. They have no idea what's waiting for them." In the council chambers, the leaders remained confident. "Earth is nothing more than a minor world," Zarkon hissed, towering over the other delegates. "Their technology is limited. Their fleets are small. Even if they rebel, it will be brief." He did not see the fleet moving through the void. He did not see the massive ships that could outmaneuver and outsmart his own. He did not know that humans had prepared for centuries, combining creativity with intelligence and courage. The first contact came unexpectedly. A council reconnaissance ship approached a sector that humans had just cleared. It expected to see an uninhabited region of space, but instead, it detected the energy signature of a massive human vessel. "This is unexpected," said the council officer aboard the scout ship. "Report unknown energy readings. Possibly a human vessel." Before a warning could be sent to the main fleet, the human stealth ships appeared. They were small, fast, and invisible to most sensors, gliding through the patrol like shadows. In seconds, the council's ship was surrounded. Captain Vale's voice crackled through the comm system of the Resolute. "This is humanity. You are in our path. Retreat immediately, or face consequences." The council officers hesitated, unsure of how to respond. They had underestimated humans. Their arrogance had blinded them, and now, in the cold silence of space, they realized that the beings they had dismissed were capable of war in ways they could not predict. The human fleet did not fire. They only positioned themselves strategically, demonstrating control, coordination, and precision. It was a message. Humanity was not reckless. Humanity was intelligent. Humanity was unstoppable when united. On Earth, Admiral Kellen observed the first communications from the fleet. "Do you see that?" he said to Dr. Maychen. "This is our strength. We do not need to destroy them immediately. We only need to show them what they have ignored for centuries." Dr. Chen nodded. "Every council member who sees this will begin to doubt themselves. Every patrol, every leader, they will realize humans are not what they expected." Indeed, the council scrambled. Ships were dispatched to confront the fleet, but human tactics were unmatched. Ancient AI, combined with human intuition, allowed the fleet to anticipate movements, outflank patrols, and evade attacks without revealing its full power. Captain Vale's squadron performed maneuvers no council pilot could predict. They moved as a single entity, weaving between stars, using gravity wells and asteroid fields to mask their paths. Council ships fired blindly, energy beams missing their targets by kilometers. Every mistake by the council was amplified, every hesitation exploited. "This is incredible," Leor said, his eyes wide as he monitored the enemy. "They are like children trying to play in a world of adults." Vale nodded grimly. "And we are not children. We are humanity, and they will learn it soon." Meanwhile, within the council chambers, panic began to spread. Zarkon roared in anger as reports of failed patrols and evasive maneuvers reached him. "Impossible," he hissed. "Humans, they are moving faster, smarter. How?" Other delegates whispered among themselves. Some wanted to negotiate. Some wanted to attack immediately. Fear was unfamiliar to the council, but now it gripped them tightly. They realized that their arrogance had blinded them, and their complacency had been dangerous. Back in space, the human fleet continued its advance. Communication relays sent clear messages to council-controlled colonies. "Humans are awake. We remember. We protect our own. This is your first warning." Colonies across council space received the transmissions, and some began to panic. Humans were not just a minor species, they were organized, powerful, and determined. Some colonies, long oppressed by council authority, began secretly preparing to join humanity if the need arose. The fleet reached the first council system that had significant defenses. Thousands of council ships patrolled the sector, ready to intercept. The humans did not charge blindly. They analyzed, they waited, they calculated. Ancient technology allowed them to detect weaknesses, and human creativity allowed them to exploit every flaw. The first skirmish was brief but decisive. Council ships attempted to trap a human battle group, but the human AI predicted the move. In an instant, the battle group shifted, surrounding the council forces instead. Energy weapons that had been dormant for centuries fired with precision, disabling council vessels without unnecessary destruction. Captain Vale observed from her fighter. "They don't know what hit them," she said. "They think they are powerful, but they are not even close." The council fleet tried to regroup, but human strategy was relentless. Every council maneuver was countered before it could be completed. The humans did not seek unnecessary destruction. They sought control, intimidation, and precision. Admiral Kellen spoke to the fleet through secure channels. "This is our message. We are not weak. We are not to be ignored. Every ship, every pilot, every soldier represents the strength of humanity. Let them see it. Let them feel it." Dr. Chen monitored the battle feeds, noting every detail. The council doesn't understand humans. They cannot. They are rigid, predictable, and we are not. We will teach them the cost of underestimating us. Even as the skirmish ended, the message was clear across the galaxy. Humans were no longer a species to dismiss. They had intelligence, strategy, and courage. They had history, innovation, and the determination to defend their own. Captain Vale and Lior returned to the flagship. "They are scared now," Lior said. "I saw it in their transmissions. They didn't know what to do, and they are only seeing a fraction of our fleet." Vale smiled grimly. "Let them be scared. They should be. This is only the beginning. We will move faster, strike smarter, and show them that humans are the storm they never expected." On Earth, millions watched transmissions from the fleet. Though the council attempted to block or distort them, some signals got through. Children, parents, workers, and soldiers alike saw humans moving with power and precision. Hope and pride spread across the planet. Humanity had survived, but more than that, they were thriving in the face of betrayal. Admiral Kellen looked at the stars and whispered, "They killed a child, and they thought it would be easy. They do not understand us. They do not understand what it means to awaken the spirit of humanity. And soon, they will." In the shadows of space, the ancient fleet continued its march. Silent, powerful, and united. The Council had underestimated humanity, and that mistake would echo across the galaxy. The first real contact had already shaken the arrogant leaders to their core. And humanity had only just begun. The battle lines were drawn. The stage was set. The galaxy would soon remember one simple truth: never underestimate a species that protects its own. Far from Earth, in the dark reaches of space, the ancient human fleet stirred. Ships that had been asleep for centuries now hummed with energy, their engines glowing as if they had never known silence. Each vessel was enormous yet sleek. Each carried weapons unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Yet more than that, they carried history, human history, determination, and the promise of revenge. On Earth, Admiral Kellen watched the fleet's status on the giant screens in the command center. Every ship had awakened without problem, every system running smoothly. It was a miracle of engineering, but more than that, it was a symbol of human resilience. Dr. Mei Chen stood next to him, her eyes reflecting the blinking lights of the fleet schematics. "It's amazing," she said softly. "Our ancestors made this fleet knowing we might need it one day. They left it as a gift for a future humanity." Kellen nodded. "And that future is now. We prepare for the Council's reckoning. They think they can control the galaxy, but they have underestimated us, and that mistake will cost them dearly." In secret hangars, engineers worked tirelessly. They repaired hulls, recalibrated energy shields, and integrated modern AI with the fleet's ancient systems. Every detail was checked and double-checked. Even the smallest miscalculation could be catastrophic in a battle against the Council. Captain Rena Vale, a young pilot chosen to command one of the fastest ships, ran simulations in her training pod. "These ships are incredible," she said to her co-pilot. "They are old, but also smarter than anything the Council has seen. It's like they were designed to think differently, to adapt." Her co-pilot, a veteran named Lior, nodded. "That's the point. The Council expects humans to be predictable. They don't expect imagination, strategy, and courage combined." Meanwhile, intelligence teams on Earth intercepted faint signals from the Council. The Council believed humans were too weak to pose a threat. Their ships continued patrolling space near the outer colonies, unaware of the sleeping fleet in distant star systems. Kellen watched the Council communications with a grim smile. Let them think that. The longer they wait, the worse it will be for them. They will not see us coming. On board the ancient fleet, the atmosphere was tense but filled with purpose. Crews of scientists, engineers, and soldiers moved with precision. Each ship was massive, yet every human aboard treated it as a living entity. The fleet was more than metal and energy. It was the spirit of humanity itself, awakened after centuries of silence. Dr. Chen moved from ship to ship through advanced telepresence systems. Every system online, shields at full capacity, energy weapons calibrated, stealth modes active. The fleet is ready for maneuvers. Kellen turned to her. Good, but we do not attack yet. First, we move. We test the fleet. We show it can operate together as one. When the Council sees us, they will already be too late. In the dark void, the fleet began moving. Ships separated into formations, gliding through space with a grace that surprised even the most experienced pilots. Some vessels were enormous, carrying weapons that could destroy entire planets. Others were small, fast, and nearly invisible, capable of striking anywhere at any time. Captain Vale's ship led a group of stealth fighters through asteroid fields and nebula clouds, testing the fleet's maneuverability. "It's unbelievable," she said. "The Council's fleet would be lost in this environment. But we are home here. This is our advantage." Back on Earth, civilians continued their lives. They had no idea that the future of the galaxy was being decided far above their heads. Yet the death of Lyra, the child killed by the Council, was never forgotten. Her image adorned murals, holograms, and digital memorials. She had become a symbol of human determination, a spark that had ignited the awakening of the fleet. In secret, Earth's leaders prepared their message to the galaxy. It would be a warning, not a threat. The Council had underestimated humanity, and now they would learn the truth. Admiral Kellen drafted the words personally. The murder of a child will not go unpunished. Humanity will no longer be ignored. The ancient fleet has awakened, and we are ready to protect our own. As the fleet continued its maneuvers, a strange sense of calm settled over the command center. This was not just war preparation, it was a ritual. Humanity was claiming its place in the galaxy, showing that they were not just survivors, but innovators, thinkers, and fighters. For the first time in centuries, the fleet's AI systems began interacting with human crews in new ways. Old protocols combined with modern intelligence, allowing ships to anticipate threats before they happened. Pilots trained for months suddenly found that the ships seemed to respond to their thoughts, as if the fleet itself were alive. Captain Vale marveled at the connection. "It's like the fleet knows us," she whispered to Lior. "It knows we fight for something bigger than ourselves." Lior nodded. "Yes, and it knows the Council has made a terrible mistake. They killed a child. They awakened humanity." As the fleet approached the outskirts of Council space, sensors picked up their first sign of potential trouble. A patrol vessel, small but heavily armed, moving near a trade route. The fleet's commanders debated whether to engage. Kellen spoke over the communication network. "We are not attacking yet. Let them see us. Let them fear what they do not understand. We are the storm they ignored for centuries." The patrol vessel detected the fleet and sent a signal. "Unknown human fleet. Identify yourselves." For a moment there was silence. Then Earth's message echoed across the void, calm but unmistakable. "We are humanity. You killed one of our own. Now we awaken. Consider this a warning." The patrol ship faltered. Its sensors could not track the massive fleet effectively. The humans had combined old and new technology in ways no one could predict. The patrol sent another signal, frantic this time. "What are you?" Dr. Chen watched the transmission and smiled faintly. "They don't understand. And they never will, not until it is too late." The fleet continued to move forward, silent, powerful, and united. The Council would soon realize their arrogance. The humans who were once dismissed as primitive were now a force beyond imagination, and every human aboard every ship carried the memory of Lyra, the child whose death had started this awakening. Admiral Kellen looked at the stars through the observation window. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "The galaxy will learn what it means to betray humanity, and we will make sure they never forget." As the ancient fleet moved closer to Council territory, the first glimmers of a new era began to appear. Humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. They were clever, determined, and united. And soon, the galaxy would see the full power of a race that had survived everything, and now had risen stronger than ever. The countdown to the Council's reckoning had begun. Humanity's ancient fleet was awake, and nothing would ever be the same. The Galactic Council chamber was silent, filled with beings from hundreds of different worlds. Some were tall, some small. Some had wings, some had many eyes. But all of them shared the same expression: arrogance. They looked at Earth as if it was nothing more than a minor colony, a species not worthy of the galaxy. In the center of the chamber, a small human child stood. She was only 10 years old, but she had a sharp mind that even the Council could not ignore. Her name was Lyra, and she had discovered a way to harness quantum energy for clean power. The Council called it a demonstration, but for humans it was a chance to show they could contribute to the galaxy peacefully. Lyra smiled nervously as she approached the glowing device. She had been practicing for weeks. Her parents watched from the observation gallery, pride in their eyes. Earth had sent her as a symbol of trust, of hope, but the Council did not see it that way. One of the senior members, a reptilian being named Zarkon, hissed quietly to the others. "She is too dangerous. Humans are too unpredictable. This child cannot be allowed to live." Before anyone could react, Council security surged forward. Lyra had no time to scream. In a flash, the child was gone. The device she held sparked, but it was too late. The chamber erupted in chaos. Humans in the observation deck screamed. Some Council members protested, but most stayed silent. Zarkon's cold gaze met theirs, daring anyone to challenge him. On Earth, the news hit like a meteor. The media tried to report calmly, but the truth was horrifying. The Galactic Council had killed a human child. Parents wept. Scientists were angry. Soldiers clenched their fists. People across every nation on Earth felt the same emotion: rage. In secret, a meeting was called at the United Earth Defense Headquarters. Generals, scientists, and leaders crowded into a reinforced chamber. Screens showed the Council's image, the child's final moments, and intercepted communications confirming the truth. Admiral Kellen, a tall man with gray hair and a sharp gaze, stood at the center. "They think we are weak," he said. "They think a child's life does not matter to us. They are wrong. Humanity has survived disasters, plagues, wars, and we have always risen stronger. This ends now." A young scientist, Dr. Mei Chen, spoke up. "Admiral, there is something no one thought we still had. It is old, yes, ancient, but it may be enough." The room grew quiet. Everyone turned to look at her. Mei Chen held up a small digital tablet showing star maps and schematics. "This is the Lost Fleet, the fleet of our ancestors. It was built centuries ago, before the Council even existed. The records say it is capable of war on a scale no modern ship can match." Gasps filled the room. An ancient fleet, hidden for centuries? Admiral Kellen's eyes gleamed. "Show me everything. Every ship, every weapon, every system." Over the next hours, the truth unfolded. Hidden in distant star systems, shielded from the galaxy, lay a fleet that humans had almost forgotten. Some ships were enormous, planet-sized, capable of destroying entire fleets. Others were small but fast, able to move through the vacuum of space like shadows. The designs were unlike anything in the galaxy. They used energy in ways even the Council could not predict. "This is humanity's secret," Dr. Chen said softly. "It has been waiting. Waiting for the right moment, perhaps. This is that moment." Admiral Kellen nodded slowly. "Then we prepare quietly. They must never know we have awakened it." Not yet. Weeks passed. Earth became a hive of secret activity. Engineers worked day and night repairing ships and bringing ancient technology back to life. Scientists integrated modern AI with old designs, making the fleet even stronger than the records suggested. The Council, meanwhile, remained unaware. They had grown arrogant, believing humans were too primitive to act. They monitored Earth casually, expecting nothing. They did not know the fires of anger had been lit. On a quiet evening, Admiral Kellen stood on the observation deck of the flagship of Earth's current fleet. Below, the planet shimmered with city lights. He held a small photograph of Lyra. Her smiling face reminded him of what was at stake. She trusted the galaxy, he whispered, and the galaxy betrayed her. We will not forgive this. We will not forget. In the shadows of space, the ancient fleet began to stir. Huge engines dormant for centuries roared to life. Lights flickered on across decks, weapon systems aligned, and energy shields hummed with power. The fleet was awakening, not just as machines but as a symbol of human resilience. Dr. Chen monitored the systems closely. Admiral, it's beautiful. Every ship is online. Every system is stable.
The fleet.
It's ready. Kellen's lips curved into a grim smile. Then we wait for the signal. And when it comes, the galaxy will see humans as they should have always seen us. Meanwhile, ordinary people of Earth continued their lives, unaware of the fleet that slept in distant space. Farmers, teachers, children, and workers went about their routines. But the memory of Lyra, the child who had been killed, burned in the hearts of every human. It was a reminder that the galaxy's arrogance had limits, and that humans were not to be underestimated. Back in the council chambers, Zarkon celebrated the child's death with the usual smugness. He had no idea that somewhere, hidden among the stars, the children of Earth were preparing for a reckoning. And when that reckoning came, it would not be small. It would be thunder across the galaxy, a reminder that humans had survived plagues, wars, and betrayals, a reminder that humans had hidden power waiting to rise. The council had killed a child, but in doing so they had awakened something far greater than themselves, humanity's ancient fleet, and the determination of an entire planet to protect its own. For Admiral Kellen and the people of Earth, the question was no longer, can we survive? It was, how will the galaxy remember us? And the answer would be unforgettable.